It began here, a single ship fleeing through the void, carrying more than just passengers. It was carrying hope. The Tantive IV, a diplomatic vessel by name, and in truth, the first battleground of the Rebel Alliance. Within its corridors, Princess Leia Organa risked everything to smuggle the Death Star plans, setting into motion a war that would determine the fate of the galaxy. Every detail of this ship tells a story. The long, elegant hull designed for speed, the escape pods that would become the last resort, and the conference room where desperate choices were made. Before the roar of the X-Wings before Yavin, before the clash of lightsabers and the fall of the Empire, there was this chase, this moment, and this very ship. The alarms blared, the corridor shook, the Star Destroyer leaned overhead, its shadow swallowing the fleeing Tantive IV. There was no escape, not this time. Yet, even in these final moments, the crew didn't surrender. The lone rebel fleet trooper gripped his blaster, steeling himself for what was to come. Captain Antilles readied his final orders, and within the hidden compartments of the ship, a message, one that could change the galaxy, was being prepped for delivery. The Tantive IV was not built for war, but in this moment, it became a battleground. And though the ship would fall, its mission would continue. To some, it is simply the Rebel Blockade runner, the first ship seen in Star Wars history. But the Tantive IV has been so much more. Before its desperate flight from the Empire, it was a diplomatic vessel, serving as Bail Organa's personal transport. It carried Princess Leia on countless missions, walking the line between negotiation and resistance. It survived battles, outmaneuvered Imperials, and ferried the hopes of the Rebel Alliance across the stars. Even after its capture, the legacy of the Tantive IV lives on, a reminder that the fight for freedom always finds a way. A ship of diplomacy, war, and ultimately destiny. Three figures stood at the heart of the Tantive IV's faithful mission. Captain Antilles, a loyal commander, piloted the ship through danger, knowing full well what capture would mean. Princess Leia, heir to Alderaan and rebel leader, carried a message that could turn the tide of war, and an unassuming astromech droid, R2-D2, became the most important courier in the galaxy. As the walls closed in and the stormtroopers breached the corridors, these three played their parts in history. Tantive IV, it was the last hope of the rebellion, and in the end, hope was enough. And in its final mission, it carried the seeds of a rebellion that would one day topple an empire. A ship meant for diplomacy, a ship that became a legend.